Let's figure out which Cricut blades are best for cutting foam to make shaker cake topper projects. Hey friends, welcome back to my craft room. I'm Tara from CraftTaraCreates.com, and today I'll be testing 3 Cricut blades to cut craft foam for shaker cake topper projects. Don't forget to grab your free beginner's guide to Cricut cake toppers. The link is in the video description. I'm starting with regular craft foam, and I'll be testing the deep point blade, knife blade, and rotary blade. When it comes to cutting craft foam with your Cricut machine, there are a few helpful tips and tricks to keep in mind. First, use a sticky mat, such as a green or purple mat, that still has a lot of stickiness left on it. Craft foam is thick, so you want to ensure it stays in place during the cutting process. To secure the foam even more, use a brayer to press it firmly into the mat. Jumping back over to Cricut Design Space, this is the design I'm going to cut with my Cricut machine to make a cake topper project I'm working on. In general, I recommend using the material setting of craft foam with more pressure. However, when using the rotary blade, you'll need to select the material setting for flex foam with more pressure. You will see that Cricut Design Space has the deep point blade listed, but you can also select Edit Tools to change to the knife blade. For now, I'm going to keep the deep point blade. It's important to note that the small white rings on the roller bar of your Cricut machine are called star wheels. While they're great for preventing materials from shifting, they can leave track marks on thicker materials like craft foam. Be sure to move the star wheels off to the side to avoid contact with the craft foam. Next, open clamp B and remove the blade. Add in the deep point blade and close the clamp. Now it's time to load the Cricut mat. Let Cricut do its thing and it will cut all the shapes out of the craft foam. Sometimes it makes a couple of passes depending on the setting you chose. The deep point blade works both with the Cricut Maker and the Cricut Explore Air models, or the Cricut Explore 3. As you can see, it cut pretty well. Everything came through and it cut all the way through the first time, so that worked out really well. I'm just going to peel back and weed out all the pieces I don't need. I'm just looking for the spacers I need to make a cake topper, so it's just the outside rings. Now I'm going to add another sheet of craft foam so I can choose a different blade. And the brayer will keep the craft foam down. I'm going to go ahead and open clamp B again and switch out with the knife blade. The knife blade is only for the Maker machines, but if you have a Cricut Explore Air 2 or an Explore 3, you can use a deep point blade. I'm using the knife blade and the material setting is craft foam with more pressure. The great thing about Cricut is that you can cut materials that are up to 2.4 millimeters thick. When it comes to craft foam, which is usually around 2 millimeters thick, you're in luck. As long as the craft foam fits under the machine roller bar, you're all set to go. I'm going to remove all the pieces I don't need. I just need the part for this shaker. This one's really thin, so I'm really impressed that the knife blade and the deep point blade were able to cut so cleanly. For the next one, I'm going to try the rotary blade. Go ahead and open clamp B again and switch out with the rotary blade. I believe the rotary blade is only used for the Maker machines. For the rotary blade, the material setting I used is flex foam with more pressure. I peeled back the foam just to check to make sure that the foam cut, and it did. This one too cut all the way through, just like the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and peel it off the mat. This one's a little bit stickier because it is a purple mat. I switched over to the purple mat because I thought that the foam was not sticking well to the green mat I had. Just for fun, I'm going to put the fine point blade back into my Cricut machine and try that one. The fine point blade is the blade that comes with every Cricut machine. It's not meant to be used for foam, but I wanted to try it anyway. So I'm going to give it a shot and see how this goes. I let it run once and I had to let it run one more time because it definitely did not take it all. So let's take a look here. It did not cut all the way through, unfortunately. I'll go ahead and peel this off, and you can even see on the back, like there's barely any indentation at all. So unfortunately, the fine point blade did not work to cut craft foam. So let's take a closer look at these 3 cuts and see which one looks the best. This last one, the green one, this is the rotary blade. Let's take a real close look at it. It's a little bit rough around some of the edges. You can see where the blade, because it's a round circle, kind of bleeds over and leaves some extra lines. This purple one here is the knife blade. It's really clean. There's only a few areas that look like they have little nicks in them. And this last one here is the deep point blade. The deep point blade looks really good. There's only a couple little spots as well. I'd say the deep point blade and the knife blade are probably the best for the cleanest cuts. However, if you have any of these blades, they all work to make cake toppers. And here's the final cake topper that I made using the foam. It is a happy birthday with the number 10, and the number 10 is a shaker. I doubled up 2 of the cutouts, the one from the deep point blade and the knife blade, and so I could have a double thick shaker. I hope you found this helpful. Leave a comment to let me know your favorite way to cut craft foam with your Cricut machine.